Yes, and another thing, I heard you speaking about the vaccines. I would suggest to you, Dr. Browne, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a medical official. In researching
Right.
the vaccines, and I watch a lot of American news. I would suggest at this time we need to stay away from the American vaccines. They're too complicated. They need to be stored at unreasonably low temperatures, below minus 92 degrees Fahrenheit. We're not going to be able to monitor these vaccines. We're not going to be able to store them properly. And even in the States, a lot of them had to be thrown out because they weren't kept at the right temperature. The one from AstraZeneca, Oxford University in the UK now, this one can be stored at a normal refrigeration temperature. You can just put it in a normal fridge. So I would suggest that in rolling out our vaccine here, we get in touch with AstraZeneca in England and maybe use this vaccine instead of the one from Moderna and Pfizer, which need these, ridiculously cold temperatures. Because we don't want a situation when the vaccines come here, they're not refrigerated properly. Then we give people bad vaccines, and then people are going to say, oh, you see, we didn't want to take any vaccine. You understand me? And also, we're going to have to undergo, a major education campaign. We can't just force the vaccines on people. And when the vaccines come, y'all realize y'all going to have to take it first as parliamentarians, senators, and permanent secretaries, Maureen Joseph and the chief medical officer, all y'all going to have to take it first before y'all make the general public take it. Because if it's not done that way, people are not. I, for one, I'm not going to take it unless all the senators, all the parliamentarians, all the permanent secretaries take it, and then I will be in the second batch. So that's the way y'all would probably have to roll it out. And one last thing, I'm going to come off the phone now so other people can get in. I was having a conversation with somebody about Fort James, and the person wanted to know what's the situation with Fort James and the Royal Caribbean project. What's the situation with the vendors, the business owners down there? I need an update on that, please. Have a pleasant evening, Dr. Browne. I listen off here.
Thank you, comrade. So I'll start with the vaccine. The Pfizer vaccine, as you rightly indicated, has to be stored at very low temperatures, minus 70 or less. And I can assure you, though, that unlike your assertion or your conclusion that we don't have the capacity, I can assure you that we have the capacity to store at least 30,000 Pfizer vaccines here. We do have refrigeration that can provide that level of storage on island. The issue is about accessing the vaccines. If we get them, if we can purchase them, we can get 30,000 of them here, and we have the capacity to store them. Issue of cost cannot be a consideration at this point. It is about getting the vaccines as soon as possible to immunize our population in order to protect our people from the debilitating illnesses associated with COVID and possible death. So insofar as your reluctance to take the vaccines, they have reckoned that COVID-19 will become endemic. In other words, it is not going to leave us anytime soon. It'll be around maybe for decades. May not be as menacing in the sense that with many people vaccinated, the transmission will be slowed considerably. But it doesn't mean that people will not contract COVID in the future and potentially could die from COVID. Just like the common cold. I mean, there are many people who contract the common cold and die, especially elderly people and those with comorbidities. That is why in many countries, people get vaccinated. They take these flu vaccines in order to protect themselves. So considering that COVID will become endemic, it is important as many of our people become vaccinated as soon as possible. It is not inconceivable that the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, that they may make it a requirement for people to who will travel to their countries in the future that they will have to provide evidence of being vaccinated. as you can see, they have now introduced this policy in which you have to provide some evidence that you have tested negative for COVID before you can enter the country. And it is probable that they may up the ante sometime in the future. So there are implications for not being vaccinated, health implications, and even social and economic consequences. The technology associated with the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine, the technology is safe technology. My understanding is that they use an RNA messenger thing to get the DNA to develop these antigens in order to fight the disease, to fight the virus. So it's like the RNA messenger is literally sending a message to the DNA to produce the COVID antibodies to fight the virus. So again, I agree that we have to pursue a public education program, and those of us who have influence in the society that we should be among the first to take the vaccine. I have indicated I'm willing to be the first in order to encourage others to feel comfortable to understand that the science is proven and tested. Pfizer would have tested over 30,000 people prior to getting the FDA approval. There are many individuals since who would have had first and second shots and doing well. There's no evidence of anyone getting extremely ill or growing new limbs, as how some of these anti-vaxxers have been creating fear, globally. And what I suggest, comrade, in order to allay your fears, I will get you a special chaperone when you're ready to take your vaccine. And that is my co-host. On the other issue about food things, Royal